You're watching On Deck with Tyler Redmond.
Welcome into On Deck. I'm Tyler Redmond. As always, thank you so much for checking out the channel. I do appreciate it. While you're here, make sure to like this video, subscribe to this channel, and hit the bell for notifications so that you can stay up to date with everything going on here at On Deck and, of course, with the Atlanta Braves. We are returning tonight because last night was a great stream. We had a lot of interaction with you guys because of the deal with Matt Olson. Obviously, big news for Braves fans, along with the news that Freddie Freeman would likely not be returning. There was a big day yesterday. Hopefully, we'll have a big night tonight. Thanks, you guys, tuning in early. I see we have a super chat from Tyler Hunter. Thank you for that. You want to know, so I'll go ahead and answer. Chances we sign Rosario, do we have much payroll left? I want you to think about how much we are saving on Freddie Freeman. And then I would say yes. I think we do have a lot of payroll left. I think we're not done making moves. I did a projected lineup with Hum Baby Baseball. If you don't subscribe to him, he's a Giants guy, but he covers all of Major League Baseball. He had me on tonight talking about the Braves and giving just an in-depth analysis of the lineup and everything. And the projected opening day lineup, I believe, has Drew Waters and Guillermo Heredia in it. I don't think that's what's going to happen. So with that said, I think we're going to go get someone. Rosario is the guy that I want, though. Rosario is my choice. Rosario is the guy I've been saying since we finished the season last year. He's the guy that I felt like we needed to return. So to answer your question, yes, I think we can sign Rosario, and yes, I think we do have payroll, and no, I don't think we're done. But yeah, so tonight is not going to be very informative. I think we all know what's going on. I will show you a couple graphics about the deals today, but all in all, I mean, first of all, big news is Matt Olson got extended. This is the biggest news on the day, in my opinion, because we knew we were going to get Matt Olson. A lot of you guys thought we overpaid. I think this blows it out of the water. I think Alex Anthopoulos has done an amazing job in handling the transition from Freddie Freeman to Matt Olson. To be able to sign him and first of all to trade for him, and then to extend him like this, where he's not a free agent until 2030. And to be honest with you, we're saving money. He's averaging to be about $21 million a year. I guarantee you. I like Freddie as much as the next guy. I guarantee you he's going to be significantly less, and he's at least going to have comparable numbers as Freddie Freeman. This is a great deal for the Braves. I know that it has a lot of emotion attached to it with Freddie Freeman, but you got to put that to the side for a second. You have to do it. This is a great deal. I've told you, put your trust in Alex Anthopoulos and you won't go wrong. And so far, he has not let me down, nor has he let you down. This is a great deal. I cannot overstate how good of a deal this is. And I think this says a lot for the future of the core players for the Braves. And you know who I'm talking about. The Dansby Swansons of the world, the Austin Rileys, the guys that have yet to be extended. I think this says a lot. I think that we are planning on having that core infield together. Now, unfortunately, that core is not going to include Freddie Freeman, but this is the best. If not just a great trade, this is probably the best alternative option than Freddie Freeman. Not to mention, he is significantly younger, and I think he has a lot longer of a career ahead of him. But this is big news. The other big news on the day is that we signed Colin McHugh. Now, a lot of you guys are not going to know this name. He is primarily a reliever. He played for the Rays last year. We signed him to a 2-year, $10 million guaranteed with a club option in 2024. This is a good pickup. This is going to solidify the bullpen. Last year he had a 1.55 ERA spread across 64 innings, but he also had a couple of spot starts. He had a 6-1 record. This is a good. I'm gonna tell you why this is good, because as we already know, we know a lot of the rotation. We know it's going to be Fried, Morton, Anderson, but after that, we have a lot of competition going there, right? So you got Tucker Davidson, Kyle Muller, Mike Soroka is a topic of conversation. There's a lot going on there, but this, Colin McHugh himself, if he can fill those gaps where, hey, we might not have a guy that we trust fully to start a game, or we don't have a guy that, or even if we just need a rest day, whatever the situation is, this guy can do that. or he can provide long relief, or he can just be a solid one-inning guy on the regular. Whatever his role is, this is a solid pickup, and I really like the move. I think it, again, solidifies the bullpen even more than it already was. I'll be honest with you, I didn't think bullpen was where we needed to go. I thought bullpen was more, if we want to add, great, and I think Alex Anthopoulos made a good move here. And again, I don't think we're done. Unfortunately, I don't have access to the payroll, but I really think that the Braves are going to make some more moves, and I think it's going to be fun. So that's really all the information there is to today. This is obviously a big day for Braves management. You picked up Colin McHugh, and you extended Matt Olson before he ever took the field by 8 years. I mean, obviously, at least the Braves are confident in their move. If nothing else, they are confident, and I like it. Make sure to get your comments in. I'm planning on being here as long as you guys keep me here. Again, super chats get priority. I will stop what I'm doing to talk to you. I promise if you drop a super chat. So if you got something on your heart and you want to let me know, drop a super chat. But most important thing you can do for me right now is like the video. Get it out there. Tell your friends about it. Of course, we had a big night last night, and I can't overstate that. Would love to have one again tonight. So I'm going to go through your comments now just to get, basically this is going to be just a Q&A. It's going to be a conversation with you guys. Tyler Hunter started off with a super chat tonight. I really appreciate that. He also said that this show is seriously underrated. I agree. I agree that it's seriously underrated. Somebody needs to talk to their marketing department. Somebody needs to talk to our marketing department. They need to get on it. William Fulgham, in AA we trust. Great deal. Completely agree. I have talked up Alex Anthopoulos. If he let me down, I would really look foolish. But he has never let me down. So AA continues to just be an absolute genius. I've talked to a lot of former players today that are friends of mine, and they follow the Braves pretty closely, and they've all said how impressed they are with Alex Anthopoulos and the deals he's able to do and accomplish. This is great. This is a great deal. If you're not going to get Freddie, if you're not going to go with the legacy guy, this is the next best thing. And I think that he did what he felt was the best option for the organization. And so far, I think he's right. Now, we'll see. We went through a lot last night. One of the things we went through was the dimensions of Oakland versus Truist and how it could benefit Matt Olson. I think that's true. I mean, it's like a 60-foot difference in right field. And for a pull hitter like Matt Olson, a power guy that hit 39 homers when he's playing half the games in a park that's not hitter friendly, I'm interested to see what he could do in Truist. I truly am. I think it's going to be a fun watch this year, and it's going to be a fun next 8 years. But we'll see what happens, man. It's going to be fun. Appreciate that, William. Robert Gall, same thing. AA's crushing it. Bring on Rosario. A lot of people are starting to get on the Rosario train, and I'm glad. I'm hoping that I started that because I have been saying that since the end of last season, that is the guy that I think we need. Solaire's great, but I don't think he can be consistent down at 162. Rosario is a guy that I think can. And not to mention his postseason heroics and all that. If we're going to get one, go get Rosario. That's what I would say. Yosemite, good to hear from you, man. John L. says, and just when I think AA couldn't get any smarter, he goes out and does something like this. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what else there is to it. I mean, AA has been phenomenal, and there's no denying it. I think, he doesn't get the credit he deserves on MLB Network or, places like that because they got 29 other general managers that are smart too. But this guy, absolutely, I mean, the trade deadline last year, that was phenomenal. But even before that, the decisions he makes sets the Braves up for success. There's been so many, going to get Josh Donaldson on a short-term deal, going to get Jose Bautista, even though it didn't work out. I thought that was a great deal. Pablo Sandoval, who would have thunk it, right? Like, there's so many different instances where he proves time and again that he knows just a little bit more than us. And I really like both of the moves that they picked up today. I think they're phenomenal. I think they're going to have long-lasting effects in the case of Matt Olson, and of course, they're going to have stabilizing effects when it comes to Colin McHugh. A lot of you guys, again, don't know who Colin McHugh is. He's going to be a steady reliever, hopefully, and hopefully this is one of those years where he's just a guy that can fill the need wherever it be, whether it be in the rotation or whether it be in the pen. Dylan Holloway wants to bring back Rosario. I appreciate that. I do too. Moonlight Graham is watching our show right now, guys. Can you believe it? I mean, good Lord. Can you take me to the field of dreams? I'm just kidding. I don't know what that means, to tell you the truth. I don't know. I mean, it could mean anything. It could be vulgar for all I know. Please drop down below and tell me what that means. But I appreciate it. Yosemite, do we have like 15 million? I don't have $15 million, but I'm sure the Braves do. Oren Griswold, guess I have my answer for who gets extended. There you go. I mean, we mentioned last night that instead of maybe going out and getting, free agents for right now, maybe we extend, extend other players. And Matt Olson's a good choice. I think if you hit Matt Olson early because he's new, right? You have a trust built with Austin Riley, Dansby Swanson, and something will get done. I think Dansby Swanson will likely take a hometown discount. I just have that feeling. He may not. I might be wrong, but I just have a gut feeling that he would take a hometown discount. I can't give you a reason I have that gut feeling. I just have it. But I mean, he's a hometown kid, right? Austin Riley, I think you can extend Austin Riley. I think you need to extend Austin Riley sooner rather than later. I want to get him locked up for the next few years because I think he's going to be a fundamental part of the future. Edward Brenner, seriously enjoyed the Freeman era. He was fun to watch. The extension of Olson makes this move better than it seemed yesterday. Should be a seamless transition. Completely agree. I think that's the goal here. I think that's what Double A is trying to do, is to not make us forget about Freddie, but make us understand why he couldn't, for one, sign Freddie again, but also move on, because I think we're at that point now. I think it's time that we move on. And we appreciate what Freddie Freeman was. We appreciate what the Braves did while he was in the organization. But at the same time, we have to move on. Yep, there you go. Robert Gall, Double A, said on 680 The Fan that they have multiple more moves to make. I thought that would be the case. I don't know when he said that. Could have been yesterday. But I think they're going to have a few more moves. Rosario and Soler might be two of those. I know that they're in on Soler. I haven't heard anything out of Rosario, but I have a feeling they're in on it. I don't know why they wouldn't be, if I'm honest with you. Robert Gall, listening to Olson seems like such a good fit. I agree with you. I think it's really hard not to fit in the Braves clubhouse. I think they have a good aura in there. I think they have good mojo and good attitudes in there. I think they're going to be fine. William Fogum's going bold. He's saying that the Braves have a good chance of signing Castellanos. I would love to know if you have a source on that, or if you have any kind of indication as to why. But I mean, I don't see why we couldn't, other than payroll. I mean, I don't know what Castellanos is looking for, but I'm sure it's the moon. That's the only thing that would get in the way there. But it would be awesome if we got it. Make no mistake. Oren Griswold, any guesses who fills in the rotation until Morton and Soroka are ready to go? Morton is pitching right now in spring training. I don't know if he'll be ready for, full-time rotation on opening day, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's back before you know it, to tell you the truth. When it comes to Soroka, I think you're going to see a competition. We may go get someone based on what Double A has said about having multiple moves. I don't know if starting pitching is where he's going to attack, mainly because you got Tucker Davidson, Kyle Muller, Kyle Wright, which is one I tend to forget. Other guys in the minors that are fighting to get that spot. Not to mention you got Mike Soroka coming, so you don't want to commit too much in starting pitching and have 7 great starting pitchers when you could have reallocated some of that elsewhere, right? So it depends. I think you're probably going to see some of the young guys on the back of the rotation at the start of the year, but we will see. Yusuke Knight tuning in. Good to hear from you. I love what the Braves are doing right now. I do too. As much as I dislike the fact that Freddie Freeman's not coming back, I love what they're doing in terms of, just baseball sense, in terms of what makes sense. I love what they're doing. Speaking of what makes sense, it makes sense to like this video. So make sure you guys like the video and, continue to comment. We're going to have a good discussion tonight. Going to go as long as I can, so make sure you are here and make sure you're tuned in. Jorge, good to hear from you, man. Thanks for the follow on Twitter earlier. Appreciate that. By the way, if you want to follow me on Twitter, it's at bubblegum_Jesus. At bubblegum_Jesus. I have a story behind it, not tonight. Jorge says Double A is awesome, but Freddie removing first baseman from his Twitter handle hurts. Sure, I didn't really like the timing on that. Maybe he knows something we don't. Obviously, I think he knows that his time on the Braves is probably over. But, it is what it is. It's going to be first baseman for someone, maybe DH, but more than likely first baseman for someone. But we'll see. Or in Griswold, that is impressive if Morton is ready to go already. I agree, but I don't know how bad his leg was broke. Like, I'm not a medical doctor. I'm not a medical examiner. I don't know how bad of a break it was. It might have been where he could recover. It's definitely impressive, but he's also a tough son of a gun. He broke his leg and continued to pitch and struck out Jose Altuve with the last pitch he threw of the year on a broken leg. We know this guy. He is a hard-nosed veteran, and I like it. But if he's ready to go, I'm excited for the year. Rick Prada, good evening. What's the payroll right now? Man, what kind of question? I wish I could answer that, but I don't really have. I'm just not. I'm not let in on such conversations, unfortunately. If the Braves want to let me in, I'll be glad to listen. But right now, I am not. Garrett's Knowles, what outfielder should we go after? You've heard Castellanos mentioned. You've heard Rosario mentioned. You can name anybody. I'm sure the Braves are putting feelers out everywhere. My guy's Rosario. I think that's the one that would make the most sense. I don't think he'll break the bank. He's going to get paid, but I don't think he's going to break the bank like somebody like Castellanos would. That's just what I think. Maybe Soler, but I think you're looking at Rosario or Soler. I think that's where we're at. More than likely Rosario. Not to mention, between those two, Rosario is a much better fielder than Soler ever, has been. Joe Mixon, Double A is a financial Jedi. For him to have a core of Acuna, Ozzie, and Olson until 2030 under market value is incredible. Completely agree. But that's what happens when you have good management. You can convince good players to come there and not for top dollar. Good management, good environment, winning team, that helps a lot in selling yourself to these players and convincing them to come. And so far it's worked. RLP, the real chosen one. I don't know why you got an alert so late. I don't know. I posted on the discussion page. Maybe you need to turn the bell on. That's all I know. But YouTube works in mysterious ways. But glad you're here. Jonah, you haven't missed that much, by the way. Jonah Aldridge, I'm thinking Castellanos, to be honest. But if we do that, we at least need Jock back. See, it's funny because everybody has their opinion of who we need to get, right? Even me, I have Rosario. I want to go get Rosario. Everybody's got their favorite, and it would be interesting. I will say Jock is flirting with coming back to a lot of teams. He's flirted with Seattle on Twitter. He's retweeted rumors that he's coming to the Braves for 10 to 12 million. There's no telling what's going on with Jock, to be honest with you. But everybody's got their favorites. It's basically, it's up to the front office and it's up to those players whether or not they want to come back. But we'll see. John Kruger, Hector Gomez has said the Braves have made Jorge Soler an offer. Yeah, I've heard the rumors on Soler. They're pretty solid. They're pretty consistent. That the Braves have definitely. Why wouldn't you make an offer? He's your World Series MVP, right? You had to assume that the Braves were going to make an offer. So I'm not surprised at all. But we'll see. I don't know if that's going to be the final move they make, though. I think they got a few, and it'd be nice to get Rosario and Soler. But if that happens, I question where Ozuna goes at that point, to be honest with you. Maybe he's traded. That's if you get both of them. If you get one of them, Ozuna's your DH, more than likely, just because Soler's okay in the field. And excuse me, Soler's okay in the field. I think he's much better than Ozuna is. But at the end of the day, I want Rosario. Yasuki Knight, can't wait to see what this Braves team looks like this year. Go Braves. Whatever this team looks like, it's going to be an exciting year. You're coming off the World Series. You got a general manager that is making moves left and right, making solid moves left and right. It's going to be a fun year. And I can't wait to see it either. Joe Mixon again. Braves need to go get Rosario, and I've been on the Rosario bandwagon since the NLCS. I have been on it since then, too. I was at Game 1 of the NLCS and Game 6 of the NLCS. Both were victories, by the way. That was the Austin Riley walk-off and the Rosario 3-run homer. I have footage of it. I wish I had put it in the system, but I didn't. I was there. He's kind of, that might be why I'm so biased with it, but I want Rosario, and I have my reasons. He's consistent, and that's the biggest thing. I just don't know how consistent mammoth home runs are. Rosario is a complete hitter. He hits both sides of the field, and when you do that, I that's the kind of player I want at the top of my lineup, and it'd be great if we got Rosario. Um, Garrett's Knowles, do you think that the Braves will bring back Jock Peterson? My gut feeling tells me no. Would I like Jock Peterson? Absolutely. It's not about what I like here. My gut feeling tells me no. I just think Jock wants the most money that he can get to play every day. I think Jock wants to play every day, and the Braves cannot guarantee him that. It would be great, but to be honest with you, I think he's going to be one of those guys that just passes through, wins a championship, and moves on. And there's nothing wrong with that. I just think that's where his head is at, and I think that's where his situation is at. Let's see. People forget, John L. People forget that we got Rosario for Pablo Sandoval. I have not forgotten. That was a great deal when it happened for the Braves because you knew that Rosario, no offense to Pablo Sandoval, Rosario was going to be a more complete player, at least off the bench, than Pablo. A more, uh, I think a more permanent player. Pablo was a very, limited player. He came in for his at-bats. He had great moments, don't get me wrong, but I think we all are aware that Rosario was the guy, was the guy for top dollar in that trade. I still think we won that trade. Lady Braves, 1993. What a great moves by Double A. Now it's time for Double A to re-sign Rosario and Peterson. There's been a new trend for people on Jock, especially tonight. I'm noticing a lot of you guys want Jock Peterson. I'd love to have him back too. I think I think he brings back, that energy. I think he brings, confidence to a team that otherwise didn't have it last year in a lot of ways. I think he's a big reason they had that. So I'd love to bring back Jock, but we'll see. Glad you're here, Chosen One. Glad you're here. Joe Mixon, Braves need to get Greinke or Cueto and bring back Rosario. Cueto? That's a name I haven't heard in a long, long time. I don't think either one of those pitchers. I really don't. I think you got to let your young guys try, and maybe see what's up at the trade deadline if necessary. But I don't think Greinke or Cueto is the answer. Bring back Rosario, I agree with, though. Bill Gates, are you giving me the tough questions with some stakes on it? Since Olson is signed long-term, where would you like to see Freddie sign? Please don't say Los Angeles Dodgers or I'm unsubscribing. Well, I wouldn't like to see him sign for the Los Angeles Dodgers. Who would like to see him sign for the Los Angeles Dodgers? But the truth behind it is he does have a home in California. I don't really like talking about it. I don't want to see him sign anywhere other than Atlanta, but it's inevitable. I don't know. I've heard Toronto. I've heard the Red Sox now. I've heard Yankees. I don't care. Wherever he wants to go to be happy, I'm cool with. That's my answer to you. Anywhere other than the Los Angeles Dodgers. Joe Mixon, Riley, and Freed need to be re-signed. Completely agree. John L. No Greinke, oh my goodness, y'all are talking mess about this man. No Greinke, his bipolar will destroy the clubhouse. Maybe he is an oddball. I think that is well documented that he is an oddball. Sorry guys, it jumped on me. I'm coming back up. Don't worry, I'm coming back. Spartan King, I thought of Freddie too though. Don't you must be responding to somebody. You have to secure the bag with Austin. Completely agree. You got quite the name here, man, with the Braves logo. I cannot read it. I'm going to call you D. To me, the Braves need another left-handed bat. If not Rosario, how about Conforto? I like him. Matt Olson, welcome. I definitely think we need another left-handed bat, which is why I'm so high on Rosario. A big reason as to why I'm so high on Rosario. It's not the only reason, but it is a big reason why I am. A lot of people brought up Conforto. I looked at it, and I wasn't like, we have to go get him. I don't remember why, though. I wasn't like, yeah, that's the move. Like, my gut feeling wasn't immediately there. I mean, yeah, last year he had a 232 batting average, 14 homers. How many games did he play? 125. Yeah, I just don't think he's. And tell me if I'm missing something, but I think he had a really good year in 2020, and then after other than that, I mean he's hit 230 last year. I'm just not sold on him, and it's no knock on him. I just don't know that we're gonna I don't even know what his contract is or whatever, but I know he's a free agent, but I don't know what dollar sign he's looking for. I don't dislike Michael Conforto. I just don't know if it's the move for the Braves. I'm more in on Rosario in that case. Crimson Tide, Roll Tide. I got a Nick Saban helmet up there too. Do you watch along? Oh, do you watch all of the games? Well, Crimson, I'm going to be honest with you. I do not, because frankly, there are 162. Some are on the West Coast. I mentioned yesterday that my sleep schedule is backwards a lot of the time. I'm going to work in about 4 hours, so I'll probably stop the stream relatively before that at some point. But because of that, I missed some of the games. I did not miss one postseason game. I was at like 6 of them, but I don't get to watch all of them. I do keep up with all of them. I get notifications on my phone, pretty much for anything. Anything that happens, I'm pretty up to date with that kind of thing. But no, I can't. I don't. It's hard to watch all the games when you work and go to school and do this, and it's just difficult. You got to sleep at some point. But I probably hit a good 150 out of 162 though. Any game that's on while I'm at home is a game watched. Garrett Snow, should we go after Johnny Cueto? I don't think so. I think Johnny Cueto is prime is behind him. I don't dislike Johnny Cueto. He's one of those guys that's out there and could maybe, maybe help a rotation. I just don't know if he's going to help a team that's competing. Maybe I'm wrong. Last year he was 7-7 with a 4 ERA. Nothing sticks out to me about Johnny Cueto. There's just nothing out there that makes me want to go get him. If we got him, it would be okay. It would be more depth. But there's nothing that just makes me say that's what Double A should do. And I got to be honest with you, I don't see it happening. Let's skip down a little bit. Jock does that to fan the flames on Twitter. Yeah, he's got some mind games on Twitter, man. It's hilarious. It really is, because that is Jock Peterson. That is exactly who he is. He is an instigator, and it's hilarious. Gaspack is confident. He says Greinke will be a Brave. It is the perfect fit. Well, Gaspack, when that happens, you're the guy that said it, and because you said it confidently. A lot of guys want to know about Jock tonight. I've pretty much answered that question about 10 times, so I'm going to skip it. But you know what I think about it. Francis Morabel, who's going to play center field? If I had to guess right now, I'm going Duvall. I think they're going to leave Acuna in right field, especially since he's still somewhat nursing. Since Acuna is still somewhat nursing the leg injury from last year. I think they'll probably have Duvall in center, and Acuna in right, and in theory Eddie Rosario or whatever free agent we get in left. That might shift at some point. They might put Acuna in center and it's Duvall in right, whatever they feel necessary. The outfield's pretty fluid. You can kind of pick and plug who you want. As long as Marcelo Zuna's not in center, I'm okay. Jay Becker, $181 million for the luxury tax payroll. I don't know where you're going with that. Probably have 15 to 20 million left tops. So if you got 15 to 20 million left, I think that can get you Rosario or Soler. If you get them on a deal, maybe both. But I doubt that we exceed that, but they're definitely going to play within that realm. I have no doubt. And to be honest with you, if they don't do anything, do not put it past Alex Anthopoulos to do something at the trade deadline. We all know how that goes. King Cub, Jorge Soler, Eddie Rosario, and Jock Peterson. Who do you want the most? Eddie Rosario. Jay Becker, you're welcome. Thank you. Yusuke Knight, can't wait to see lineup for opening day. The opening day lineup, I'm going to tell you, the opening day lineup I don't think is going to be descriptive or representative of what the entire year is going to be. It may or may not have Ronald Acuna. It may or may not have a free agent that we later pick up. So just be aware of that. It's going to be interesting, but I think it's going to be different maybe even 2 weeks in. But the primary pieces will be there with the exception of Ronald Acuna. You'll have Olson, you'll have Albies, you'll have Riley, Duvall, Dansby, Albies, whoever I'm missing. You'll have those Ozuna, you'll have those pieces. There's at least two in there that I think may shift and probably will shift. But that's how I feel about that. Z Corp Alpha, do you feel this is the start of an Atlanta dynasty for the 2020s? That's a good question. I'll be honest with you. I think that when it comes down to it, I mean, think about it. We've won the division. I can't remember. Is it 3 or 4 years in a row now? 2018, so that would be 3. Yeah, we've won the division 3 years in a row, and now we just won the World Series. I mean, I think we've had a pretty good past couple of years. So you could maybe say that it's the start of the 2020s, but I think we're doing just fine over the past few years. I got a super chat, so I'm going to go to that. Frey Morg, one of my biggest supporters. I appreciate it. If we get Rosario, what do you think is our need after that? Bench? Probably, yes. I feel like we have a good rotation, lineup is solid, and bullpen seems improved. We have a good rotation. The problem is it's not complete. The bullpen is solid. The bullpen, especially after picking up my man Colin McHugh, especially after that, the bullpen is very solid. But I don't think I think rotation could be improved. I definitely think rotation could be improved. Bench, I think is not the priority, but I definitely think it could be improved as well. Just because, I mean, we're under American League rules now. We have a DH. There's not necessarily the need for a pinch hitter. Okay, 4 years. Sorry. I'm so sorry, Michael. 4 years. I apologize. I'm doing this off the cuff. Just remember. But yeah, I think bench would probably be where we go because right now I think it's just Guillermo Heredia and then whatever we have in the minor leagues. So that could be improved. But at the end of the day, the bench in the majors is really just, picking up spots here and there for days to fill in. That's really it. But I like the question. I think it's a good question. I think it's a necessary question. I'm glad you asked it. Thank you, Frey Morgan. Thanks for the super chat. I do appreciate it. I'm going to try to go find where I left off and continue to answer these questions. Z Corp says that Freeman is going to the Blue Jays, and RLP says that's fake news. I don't know that is fake news. I've heard a lot of talk about the Blue Jays because Freddie is a dual citizen and all of that. I get all of those reasons, and you never know. I mean, he played in the on the Canadian team in the Olympics or whatever the situation was. He played on that team, so it's not a foreign concept that he could play in Canada. So it'll be interesting. Miguel Frica agrees about Rosario. I appreciate that. I hope I'm saying your name right when I say this. I've said it before, I know, but Horacio Parker. Any idea why there aren't any rumors of any teams being interested in Rosario? Because he's quiet. He is a quiet individual. He does not talk, and neither do the Braves, which tell me that maybe they're talking to him. That's what that tells me, because all these other teams, when they talk to somebody, they let you know they're talking to him. Look at all the teams talking to Freddie Freeman, right? You knew the Braves were going to be talking to him. Well, you've heard the Red Sox, the Blue Jays, the Yankees, the Dodgers, the Rangers. I mean, you've heard all these teams talk about it. The Braves do not. I mean, you've heard the rumors about Soler, but they keep it pretty quiet. It wouldn't surprise me if that's the case, if they're both just keeping it quiet and seeing how the market plays out, because a lot of teams were waiting on Freddie Freeman to get signed before they get through with a lot of these deals. Chris Martin, by the way, former Brave, got signed by the Cubs. That's interesting. But there's been very few moves here and there, done in the grand scheme of things, very few. So that is an interesting thing. That's a good question, but your rumors are, again, a lot. This is why I didn't talk a lot about the lockout, because there was a lot of he said, she said in the talks of, but behind the scenes, right? You never knew what was really going on, and we don't really know what's going on with a lot of these guys talking. Like, we don't know what's going on at Freddie Freeman's head. I mean, we truly don't. So yeah, I don't know. I think ultimately we'll know whenever he signs. If it's to the Braves, we'll know what happened. We got a big super chat, and I got to skip you guys. I'm sorry. Z Corp, I appreciate it. Man, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. Do the Atlanta Braves keep winning A discipline over a post World Series winning year. Um, might need you to reword that. Do the Atlanta Braves keep winning a discipline over a post World Series winning year? Um, I'm trying to put together. I don't know what you're meaning here, buddy. To tell you the truth, do the Atlanta Braves keep winning a discipline over a I'm gonna need you to reword that, but I'm gonna come back to you. Do the Atlanta Braves keep winning a discipline over a post World Series winning year? I'm wondering if you're meaning the division. Do the Braves keep winning the division after a post World Series winning year? I would say yes. Your biggest threat is probably going to be the uh, the Mets in terms of the division. If I'm wrong, please correct me. That's what I'm going to assume. But yeah, I would say that they keep winning the division. I don't think that's a problem. I just can't, in good consciousness, say that the Mets are, a danger to the Braves. Um, oh, okay. So, like, can they win again the entire show? Can they win the World Series again? Yes. Keep a winning discipline. I get okay. Thank you guys. I appreciate you rewording that for me. Sometimes it don't come out right. Um, yeah. So I think the Braves are still in a winning mindset. They're definitely in a win now mindset. That's without a doubt. The idea that they're going to win after the Cubs won the World Series in 2016, they kind of were just satisfied. It had been 108 years. It was a great moment, great baseball history, historical moment there. But for the Braves, I think they're in a we want to win now because we've proven that we can, and we're going to. And that's how I feel about it. Um, when it comes down to it, the Braves I've talked about this on Home Baby Baseball again today. By the way, I believe he just posted that video. Once the stream's over, I encourage you to go watch it. Me and him had a good discussion about we went through the entire, you know, tentative roster, and I gave opinions on different things. But for the Braves, I think, this is going to be a very different team. It's going to look a lot different. Obviously, the biggest name is you're not going to have Freddie Freeman. You're going to have Matt Olson. But also, you potentially aren't going to have Jock Peterson, Eddie Rosario, and Jorge Soler unless one of them is brought back. And with that, you're going to have the return of Ronald Acuna. You're going to have the return of Marcell Ozuna. You're going to have a return of some big name players that made a big impact that were not involved. Mike Soroka, guys like that. It's going to look a little different, but that does not mean we are losing quality. We are, in fact, gaining the guys that we raised up, the guys that were supposed to take us to the World Series in the first place. They just were unable to do it last year because of injuries and different, scenarios. But at the end of the day, I think they are going to keep a winning, a winning mindset. I truly do. Wow, another super chat. America's team. Yep. Thank you so much, Z Corp. I appreciate that a lot. Thank you. Let me know if you got any more questions. I'll be glad to answer. Let me scroll back up and try to catch back up where I was. I don't want to miss anybody. Guys, like I said, Super Chats is the best way to get me to talk to you. That's how I can, decipher what's going on and really hone in on one on one name and one person. So thank you to Z Corp. I do appreciate it. But we got a lot of questions in here tonight and a lot of activity and a lot of interaction. And I always like that. Thank you so much. Z Corp also asked me, did I get a 2021 championship ring? I did not, but if you'd like to go get me one, Z Corp, please do so. I'd love one. Bradford Brusso, with all the pitching the Braves have, could you see them making a trade for Ketel Marte and sign Rosario? The thing about it, I'm going to answer this question. I'm going to hit that super chat. The thing about it, Bradford, with all the pitching that the Braves have, I could see them making a trade. I mean, their pitching that they would trade is in the minors. That would be like Kyle Wright, Kyle Muller, Tucker Davidson, those guys, maybe even Tookie. That is certainly, there is the potential for that. I don't know how many teams would be interested in it. Ketel Marte is a name that has been on, my radar for a long time, since last year. I don't know that the Braves are necessarily going to target him. There is a potential need. He could play the outfield, right now. But I think, if you pick up Ketel Marte, there's no reason to sign Rosario. I mean, you'd have Acuna, Duvall, and Ketel Marte. And same goes for Rosario. There'd be no need to get Ketel Marte if you have Rosario. So that's how I feel about that. Neither one of those guys are going to sit the bench. I just don't see that happening. I got another super chat. I need to answer that, and then I will scroll back up again. Super chats are the way to get to me, man. If you want to get to me quick, that's the way to do it. You may have spoke on this, but do you know much about McHugh? Let me pull up his graphic. 2 years, $10 million guaranteed. He had a 1.55 ERA last year. He had a 6-1 record. He is not a typical starter. I will tell you that. He's truly not. He had some spot starts. But, I mean, look, a 6-1 record's not bad. He also had a save. He had 74 strikeouts across 64 innings. I mean, the guy's good. There's no doubt about it. He had probably one of, if not the best years in his career. He's been playing since 2012. He is from Illinois, drafted in 2008. I'm just giving you his typical bio here. I'm looking for, different things so I could give you more of a complete background. But yeah, last year's what I look at. I always look at the most recent year and really break that down. But I think it's interesting that he can fill gaps when needed. We have a club option, so that's good for the Braves. We don't have to bring it back if we don't want to. But I think what is good about him is that, he's a spot starter. And with it, Soroka potentially not coming back until July, with the question marks past, in the rotation past Ian Anderson, being third. You have Max Fried, Charlie Morton, and Ian Anderson, but past that, there's a lot of question marks. You may need a guy that can spot start, and I would throw in Huascar Noah at the back of the rotation there too, maybe, but I don't know where he is. I mean, he was not the same after he came back from his broken hand last year. So there's a lot of questions I have. I wish I could tell you more on this guy. I think we're going to learn more about this guy. I want to know what his pitches are, so I can tell you that, but I can't find it at the moment. I'll let you know as soon as I do, but I'm not seeing anything at the moment. But yeah, look, at the end of the day, his stats last year were good. If nothing else, he'll solidify the bullpen and he'll eat up innings. That is, that is what I think is the biggest deal here, because we had a good pen before this. Before we got him, Kirby Yates was a huge pickup. Tyler Matzik, Will Smith are both returning. Luke Jackson, which is a name that a lot of you guys probably grown at hearing. But he's a guy that has come a long way and doesn't get the attention he deserves. All right, so here's his pitches. He's got a slider, a cutter, a four-seam fastball, and a curveball. His most he's mainly a slider. Oh, he's also got a changeup, but not very much. Doesn't throw it very much at all. His most common pitch is the slider, 52% of the time. He throws the cutter 33%, and four-seam fastball 10%. He only throws the curveball about 3% of the time. Yeah, I mean, he's got 5 pitches, but obviously he's got his primary slider and cutter and four-seam fastball. Those are the pitches he relies on the most. That's really all all I know about him. Obviously he played for the Rays. They were a pretty good team last year. They made it to the postseason. So, I mean, who knows, right? I mean, there's so many different ways you can go about describing that guy and picking him apart, but I think he's a good pickup, and I think he's the first of many more moves to be had. Wow, we are having another great night here at On Deck. Again, like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. You guys tore up the channel last night, and I really do appreciate it. And you guys are tearing it up once again tonight. You guys have a lot of good questions, and I love answering them. All right, picking back up, William, AA, shopping Ozuna with eating some of his contract from what I've heard. I told you that. I told you that weeks ago, William. I proposed the idea. I even put it on TikTok for giggles. I think that there is a possibility. The reason you know what? You just made me think, because, you guys keep mentioning this rumor with Soler. If we get Soler, I just question why we have Soler and Ozuna. I think they're virtually, they're not the same, but they're virtually the same type of player. I just question why we do that. They're both mediocre fielders. They're not, great in the field. Soler's obviously significantly better than Ozuna, but they're not great. Ozuna has won a Gold Glove. I know all the memes, but he's not great in the field. He is a DH. And if we're going to shop him, now's the time. Teams need DH. And if we don't want to deal with the baggage of everything else that's happened, now is the time. But we'll see if that's the case. I'm sure he's being mentioned and talked about. Um, and look, I don't dislike Ozuna. He's had his troubles. I'm not here to judge. But if we want to drop that, we want to move on from him, now is the best time to do that. And I think that would be interesting. I would like to get some prospects back, to tell you the truth. I know we're set for a while, but, our prospects have taken a big fall lately. We were ranked number 17th prior to yesterday's trade for Matt Olson, and I can imagine that knocked us down a peg or two. We do got some good prospects down there, but not the overall consensus of being number 1 and number 2 like we used to be. It would be nice to be back up in that, at least the top 10. But yeah, I mean, if that's going on, that would be awesome. I think if you shop Ozuna and you eat some of his contract and maybe get to, get Rosario, get Soler, and have some of those World Series heroes again on the team, that would be great. Good question. I appreciate you mentioning that. Josh Wyatt, what do you think of our bullpen for this season? I think our bullpen is stacked. I'm going to pull it up. Unfortunately, I can't pull it up for you guys to see it, but I'm going to pull it up and just read some of the names. Because think about it. Let me think. You have so many good pitchers in the Braves organization, right? And a lot of them get overlooked because they aren't the best, right? Like, all right, Will Smith is your closer last year. You got Kirby Yates. I think one of those guys, I think that between Will Smith and Kirby Yates, you're going to have to pick a closer. Wouldn't be surprised on either one of them who it would be. Would like it to be Kirby Yates, but would not be mad if it was Will Smith. I think he proved himself a lot during the postseason last year. Hopefully he takes that into this year. I definitely think he starts as the closer. I don't think Kirby Yates will begin the year as the closer, at least. Luke Jackson. I think, has improved dramatically since he first came up. You guys all remember the post that people would make and trash on Luke Jackson. They couldn't stand him. He has improved dramatically. Struggled with the Dodgers, but, all in all, that was the Los Angeles Dodgers in the postseason. A.J. Minter has been a guy that has came and developed into being a very strong reliever. Jacob Webb's had some ups and downs. Jacob Webb was great a couple of years ago. I guess 2020 he was really good. 2021 he struggled. 2022 he was up and down. I'd like to see this is the year I'd like to see him do something that thoroughly impresses me. Colin McHugh, we mentioned him earlier. I think he's going to be a guy that can fill the need wherever. But there's young guys. You got Dylan Lee. You got Spencer Strider, guys that we haven't hardly seen sniff the majors. And there's beyond that. You have potentially Huascar Noah, Tucker Davidson, Kyle Muller, Tuki Toussaint, all these guys that are competing for those last 2 spots in the starting rotation. Those guys are, pin material at that point. They can fill in the bullpen. And there's more than that. There's a lot going on in the Braves systems that we don't even really get to see from our perspective. But there's a lot. Thanks for that question. I think the bullpen's going to be great. I truly do. King Cub, how good can Austin Riley be this year? I think top 3 third base in the MLB. What say you? I think he was one of the top 3 third basemen in the MLB last year. I mean, I believe at one point I compared him with Nolan Arenado, and a lot of the hitting stats he topped Arenado in. And I don't know a better third baseman than Nolan Arenado. I'm sure there's others, don't get me wrong, but I don't know one better than Nolan Arenado. Just in terms of just outright better, and he was able to at least be in the conversation. I think he had an MVP season last year. I did a video a while back. You guys can go look for it on the channel after the stream. Austin Riley, the economical MVP, because compared to all the other guys in the MVP conversation, where he did not get enough attention, by the way, he was, the most economical. And if you're building a team, that's the kind of team you want to build, economical and MVP caliber. I think Austin Riley set up that not only have a good year, but have a good career. I think it's going to be good for him. Gold Slick, I like that name. Conforto wouldn't fit our budget, would he? Let me see. He's a free agent, right? I think the free agency market's kind of at a standstill. A lot of you guys keep bringing up Michael Conforto. I'm not a Michael Conforto guy. It's not even because I dislike him. I just don't think he's the guy that the Braves are going to go target. I mean, like I said, I think he hit like 232 last year. I said, I just don't think that is what he's looking for. Let me look up projected salary this year and see what I find. If 15, 20 million is what we currently have, yeah, he's looking on a 1 year deal for 20 million. I don't think that's in the Braves' best interest right now, especially if we only have 15 to 20 total left before we reach the luxury tax. If that's true. So if that's the case, I just don't think so. I also don't think he's that good to put that much money into for 1 year. I just don't think so. Miguel Freaka, I don't want to see Heredia for opening day. It was terrible watching Heredia and Almonte last season. Now, don't be so cruel. I'm just kidding. I get it. Obviously, we have a certain standard on the Braves. We don't want to see certain. We don't want to see certain guys be. We don't want to see certain guys get the opening day start, right? I remember Julio Teheran used to get tore up because people didn't want him to be the opening day starter, and he did it for like so many years in a row. But that's where the team was, and right now the team is at a point where they have a player that's injured in Ronald Acuna, and they're down a free agent. Hopefully, we see a move made. But I mean, Guillermo Heredia's got his spot. I think it says a lot about him that he came back for $1 million this year after being a World Series champion, and probably could have taken his talent elsewhere if he wanted to. I think it says a lot that he wants to be in Atlanta. So we'll see, but I don't, I wouldn't mind it for 2 weeks, but I don't want to see it beyond that. Excuse me, I got to sneeze. I will at some point anyway. Scott Vanover, the Olson moves will pay off for years to come. I will miss Freddie, but more money for Riley and Swanson. Don't sleep on Swanson. I am not sleeping on Swanson. If you guys are feeling frisky and you guys want to go look for it, there is an interview on this channel with Dansby Swanson his rookie year, maybe right after his rookie year. It is a very young Tyler Redmond, very nervous Tyler Redmond talking to Dansby Swanson. He was very nice to me, but I was just really nervous. It's a shaky iPhone, dad holding it like this, but it's a funny one. If you guys got time and want to go watch it, I asked him hardly anything of substance. It's just a fun interview. It's not very long. But you can go find it. It's one of the very first videos I think I ever put out. But yeah, I'm not sleeping on Swanson. I'm a Swanson guy, Swanson fan, whatever you want to call it. He hit a home run in the World Series. He's a hometown kid. He's an Atlanta guy, big in the community. There's no reason for me not to like Dansby Swanson. I also think he's a suitable shortstop. I think he's not the best in the league. He's not going to be Carlos Correa. But for what we pay him, for what he brings, I like Swanson. I think he's going to be a part of the Braves for years to come, hopefully. Z Corp, after what Jock did during the parade, I lost respect for him, families at that ceremony. I get it. The moment probably got a little big for him. I think, they obviously blurred it on TV, but I understand that. Yasuki Knight, should be interesting to see what the pitching rotation will look like for the Braves this season. I completely agree. Gold Slick wants to know, what about Schwarber? Schwarber, I'm a big fan of Schwarber, but I'm not I'm not a fan in the sense of I like Schwarber to the Braves. I like watching Schwarber hit. I like Schwarber, I like to watch Schwarber hitting, home runs. I think that's fun. I don't know if he fits into the Braves, methodology. I just don't know if that's what they're looking for. I really think Rosario fits better into that. I think he fits better, in the clubhouse, with Acuna and Ozzie. And if they get Soler, obviously Soler, I just think he fits better. Joseph Alvarez says the same thing. Before he got hurt, Rosario had monster numbers and was consistent with the Twins. More reliable and better option than Jock. Home run or strikeout, same as Soler. Completely agree. That I like consistency, and I think most people are getting on that train now. They're starting to realize. But early on, it was everybody wanted Soler because he was the World Series MVP. I wouldn't be mad if we got any of these guys. I'd be happy if we got him. But we'll see. Z Corp, maybe I'll relay some of these questions to certain people I know. Interesting channel. Z Corp, I don't know who you know or what questions, but I'd like to. Bill Gates, if the Braves can get Rosario on a 3-year deal, it would be perfect left-handed bat to balance out the heavily right-handed lineup. Mentioned that last night. and allow Michael Harris Jr. and other outfield prospects to get big league ready. Completely agree. I think in 3 years' time, you'll see Michael Harris, if he continues on the trend that he's on right now, you'll see Michael Harris come to the big leagues, and at that point, it'll be time for probably time for Rosario to move on. Norma Hinkle, Braves made a bad move with Freddie. It's going to come back and bite all of us. All of you who disagree down deep, you know it too. Go Braves. Well, you have your opinion and I have mine. I don't think it was necessarily a bad move. I understand, being a fan of Freddie. I am a fan of Freddie. I like Freddie. I wanted Freddie back. But at the same time, if we're not going to get Freddie back, this was the best possible scenario to rebound from that. And that's what I'll leave you with. Dylan Holloway, is there a way to watch spring training workouts or anything? Not that I've seen. In past years, they've done stuff on YouTube that you can watch. They've done some broadcasts, but with the shortened spring training, I don't know they're going to do anything. I have not seen anything. Usually, I'd be watching a spring training game, but I haven't seen anything. Moonlight Graham has 2 questions. In your opinion, what available free agent starting pitching would be the best fit? The best food items at Truist haven't been yet, but will be for the opening series. Let me look at current free agents, and then I'll be able to tell you. I can't answer the second question. The best food in Truist Park is not always open, but it's in center field. It is the barbecue joint. It is just the pork sandwich at the barbecue joint. That thing is freaking delicious. And I know there's other choices, but that's my go-to. That's where I go. It's just good. All right, so the NBC Sports free agent tracker is what we're going to base this off of. Let me see. First baseman, second baseman, shortstop. Sorry, guys, got a lot to scroll through here. All right, right-handed starters, you got Chase Anderson, Chris Archer, Jake Arrieta, Dylan Bundy, Trevor Cahill. Oh, you got to be kidding me. Hang on. Sorry, internet's weird sometimes, guys. All right, Johnny Cueto, Zach Davies, Anthony Desclafani, Chris Ellis, Thomas Eshelman, Mike Fires, Mike Fultonevich, Kevin Gossman, Chichi Gonzalez, John Gray, Zach Greinke, Matt Harvey, Jacob Junis, Corey Kluber, but he signed with the Rays already. So some of these guys are probably already gone. Willie Peralta, Carlos Martinez, Michael Pineda. That's interesting if he hasn't been signed already. Garrett Richards, Matt Schumacher, Julio Teheran, Jose Urena. No thanks. I think out of that list, I'd probably go Pineda if he's still available. Again, I'm looking at just a random list I pulled up. Chris Archer's interesting, but I don't. Zach Davies is interesting too. There's guys out there on the left-handed side: Brett Anderson, Tyler Anderson, Danny Duffy, Cole Hamels. Learned our lesson there. J.A. Happ, Scott Kazmir, not the one we know, the other one. Wade LeBlanc, John Lester, who's hanging around. Jose Quintana, Drew Smiley is available, but I doubt we go for that. So Danny Duffy's interesting if he's still available. Brett Anderson might be. Out of all these, I'd probably lean Michael Pineda, but even then, I'm hesitant. It just doesn't scream at me like we need this guy. Chris Archer might be interesting as well. They might pick up one of these guys. I really don't know if they do. I think it's going to be more so of like just a 1-year thing to cover for the minor leagues to catch up, hopefully. But that, I think Michael Pineda would be okay. Zach Davies, maybe. Again, I'm not looking at their stats. I'm not looking at anything. I'm going purely on name value at the moment. But that's what I'm saying at the moment. And again, I don't even know out of this list who's available because, frankly, the frenzy of free agent guys, it's extremely hard to keep up with sometimes. Give me just a second. I believe that was Moonlight Graham that asked me that question, so thank you for that question. I appreciate it. And make sure you head back to the Field of Dreams, okay? Appreciate it. Z-Court, Freeman will want to be back in 2 years. Maybe. Who knows? But we'll see. I think Freeman's going to find a home. I think he's going to be fine. I don't think there's any need to have any bitterness towards Freddie Freeman or towards Braves management for it. I really don't. John L. Any contract is a gamble, but I think the Braves made a great decision to let Freddie go. I don't think this is as big of a gamble as people think. It's a gamble. Any contract is, like you said, but I don't think it's as big as you think. I think that, frankly, Matt Olson's deal is great. He's young. He's got a big future ahead of him. You got him locked in with all the rest of these guys, and I think he's going to have some of the best years of his career, at least in the next 5. So we'll see. Thanks for that. Miguel Frica, we want clutch hitters in playoffs like Rosario and Soler. Sure, I get it. They're clutch. I think Rosario more so than Soler. Man, I'm really behind. I'm sure I am, but I am trying, guys. The 2021 Atlanta Braves championship ring is beautiful. I'm sure it is. I haven't seen it in depth. Jake Hobby, yeah, he said Duvall, for center field, yeah. Sorry, guys, I know I'm kind of skipping through. Do you worry about Duvall getting tired in center field? He mentioned it was impacting his hitting down the stretch. I don't think it would be a long-term thing. I think Duvall, as of right now, I think he's a center fielder to start the season, but I think once Acuna's healthy, between those two, he would be shifted. People, I saw an interesting comment on MLB Network yesterday about playing center field. I think it was Billy Ripken. And he said that, he goes, I keep hearing the center field is so much harder to cover. He said, I think left field and right field are harder because you have more obstacles. You have walls to run into, more so. You have, bullpens potentially on the left and right side of the field. Whatever the situation is. He goes, yeah, you have more ground to cover. Other than that, I don't know if it's impacting it. I know he said that, but again, I don't think it would be a down the stretch problem. I think it would be early on, and I think it would mainly be just to give Acuna the chance to heal. John L., I think Waters will be on the active roster by the All-Star game. I hope so. I'd like to see Waters. The problem with Waters, and believe it or not, I've actually interviewed him as well. It's just not on the channel. It was a written thing. I just sort of talked to him for a minute and got some interview questions with him. I like Drew Waters. I think he's a great guy. I think he's a good player, and I think he's going to be a good player in the majors. His stats are just not quite there. Not yet. Last year he had 240, 11 homers across 400 at bats. I just don't think he's in, and that's in AAA. He's got to get to be, a little bit more consistent at the plate, and show me. I don't get to watch him every day. I don't know what the raw talent is. I'm sure it's there. But again, he's got to get some more, frankly, he's got to get a little bit more consistency and more, if he, I don't know what type of hitter he is, but if he's an average guy, I need a better average, right? That's the best way I can put it. But I'd like to see him up. I'd like to see him perform when he's up. I don't just want him to come up. I want him to come up and perform. Shelby Cox, I see your question too. His estimated time of arrival is this year, but keep in mind his estimated time of arrival was also last year. So we'll see. I think it's probably been pushed back because of COVID and other obstacles and everything that came with that. But I want to see him before we just bring somebody up. We did that with Pache. I want to see them perform and progress into it. Austin Riley, we couldn't keep Austin Riley out of the major leagues. If you remember, we could not physically keep him out. He hit like 30 homers or something crazy in a month down to the minors. And then he came up to the majors and proceeded to do the same thing. So it's interesting. Miguel Frica is asking me, did I see Nolan? Did I see the pitcher that the Los Bravos acquired today from Tampa? I did not, but I'm going to go look for it. Hang on a second. Next time, put a name. I'm just kidding. Google is running. News. Nothing out there. If you want to drop a name, I'll look him up, but I did not see it. No, thanks for the question, though. Glenn Chappell. Freddie is the best first baseman in baseball. On a throw from third, you want Freddie Freeman, but Double A slam dunked it. Freddie's going to a losing team. Well, I don't know. Freddie, if Freddie goes to LA, I mean that's definitely tough. Don't go look at that lineup. It'll give you nightmares. Josh Hutchins says that he saw Jock wants to go back to LA. That's fine, but is he going to play every day? That's what he really wants. Joseph Alvarez, hey buddy, with this Braves team as it is now, can the Braves repeat as World Series champion? Said this earlier, but I'll be glad to say it again. I think so. I think the Braves have a very good chance. They're going to look different, but I think they have a very good chance. You're bringing back stars like Soroka, Ozuna, Acuna. I think they have a very good chance. But we'll see. It all kind of depends on how things go. Who would have thought last year that we were going to do it, right? That the Braves were going to win the World Series? Who would have thought that? I think they have just as good of a chance as of right now as they did before opening day last year. Jorge says, will we have a home run chase between Acuna and Olson? Do you think we are World Series favorites in the National League, or are some teams ahead of us? Well, it's hard, right? Because across divisions, it's tough. I mean, most people would tell you that the Dodgers and the Giants were better last year. I would probably say that the National League East doesn't get enough credit. And that's why you don't see, the Braves get the credit they deserve. Because, look, I know the Braves had 88 wins last year, but that team at the end of the year was not that team at the beginning of the year. It was a completely different team up and down, not just in players, but in mindset. And they proved it. I think there's definitely some teams that you could consider ahead of us, but I don't think there's any teams that are better. And I'll leave it at that. King Cub, rumor is that Jacob deGrom will opt out next season. If things go south in New York, do you think the Georgia native could come home? If we want to pay him, he'll come home. But other than that, no. We're gonna have to pay him. There's no way you get him without paying. Watch your mouth, knitter. That's not nice. All right. Josh Hutchins, Double A was in tears almost during interviews, so that tells me Freddie is done with the Braves. Yes, we kind of got to that conclusion last night during the stream. We pretty much said that that's going to be what it's going to be. We've sort of made up our mind that Freddie's more than likely done, unless he just decides to take a huge pay cut or something. He's done. Freddie is moving on. Chris Lord, we actually talked about that as well. Freeman could be the DH, sure, but you'd have to get rid of Ozuna. You'd have to figure that out. He could split time with Olson, but at the same time, are they going to be able to pay him while paying Olson? There's so many different questions. Saintaholic, I wonder who you're a fan of. Told y'all Olson would be extended before his 2 years were up. I just didn't know it was going to be below the 24 hours was up. Yeah, Olson, I'm not surprised at all. I'm glad we got it knocked out. I'm surprised it happened so quick, but I'm not surprised at all they got extended. I'm with you. Nolan Miller, does Acuna lead the league in home runs or win MVP? Well, Nolan, it's, by the way, I appreciate the text message to tell me to answer your question. Nolan, I would say that, any year I think Acuna can win the MVP. I mean, it was only a couple of years ago that he was talking about, doing 40-40 stolen bases and homers. And, any year could be his year to win the MVP. He's got more than enough talent. He's got more than enough talent to lead in homers. I don't think homers is as much of a chance as the MVP is. I think he's a multi-talented player, and I think there's some other guys in the league that could lead in homers over him. Guys with just more raw power. But sure, I think he could do both of those things at some point. Don't know if it'll be this year. Thanks for the question, Nolan. Z Corp, can they win? Can they win again the entire... Oh, I already answered that. Cool. Dylan Holloway, would you like to see Austin Riley in the home run derby? I would love to see Austin Riley in the home run derby. I feel like that dude could crush a softball, much less a baseball in the home run derby. I think that he's just got so much raw power. I saw him homer off DeGrom, and it was like off the end of the bat. It was, I think he's got so much raw power that, I really think, I'd love to see it. the Mets always get hyped up every year on paper. Yeah, but they always add a lot too. It's just like the guy below you. You almost messed me up there, Dig Bick, but not today. The Mets are the Mets, no sweat. I agree. Kevin Hagler, I just got an ad for Freddy's after clicking on the video. Oh, thanks. Appreciate it. Thanks for watching. By the way, haven't said it in a while, so I'll say it now. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel. If you want your question answered now, drop a super chat. A couple of you guys have done that tonight. You've come out big tonight, and I do appreciate it. I always appreciate you guys tuning in, and it means a lot. So thank you very much. King Cub, do you think next offseason another Georgia native and Jacob deGrom would come home? I just answered that question. I think if we pay him, he'll come home. You also ask, what type of stat line do you see Matt Olson having next season? I'm going to assume you mean this season. It's hard to say because he's transferring not only a division, but he's moving into a completely different league with pitchers he doesn't see a whole lot. The National League East does have a lot of good pitching. I would think he's got more homers, maybe a less batting average, but I don't know for sure. I mean, I think he's on an upward trend. He had the best year of his career last year. So there's no reason to think he's not going to be that caliber player and continue to be that caliber player. But I couldn't give you an exact stat line. Probably something similar to last year. The biggest question I think in that would be how many homers is he going to have, because the dimensions of the park are different, the division's different, the league's different, and that I wonder. I do think that being on a more competitive team, he may have more RBIs and that kind of thing. But we'll see. Josh Hutchins, I think the best thing to do on winning multiple championships is not to run it back with the same players. We have talent still and added more. Completely agree. Jordan Hunter, do we want a starter or reliever? Starter. No doubt about it, starter. That would be my go-to. We got a reliever today. We got Colin McHugh today, and I think that's going to solidify the bullpen. I don't see any more moves necessary, really. I think we got a lot of guys that are going to flow into the bullpen after realizing that they're not going to be a starter. Guys like Tookie Toussaint, Kyle Muller, Tucker Davis, and guys like that who are just on the cusp of being a starter, but not quite there. Those guys are going to flood into the bullpen and be long relievers as well. But this guy could give you a spot start. Colin McHugh, he could give you a spot start. He could be in the bullpen. He could be anything you need him to be. That's who I think you're going to go with here in terms of the bullpen. I think you're going to stick with that. D asks, our team is amazing. Olson will hit 40 to 50 home runs. Okay, but no doubt 2022 will be Ronald Acuna Jr.'s year, period. By the way, he's back. I don't know if you guys saw that video. It's on my Instagram story at bubblegum_Jesus if you want to go see it. But he's back, and that was great. He hit a home run today, and he let everybody know he was back. He's hitting fine. I want to see him run before I give you a conclusive, yeah, he's good to go on opening day. Who is the best starting pitcher left on the market? I feel like I answered that. I'm going to skip past that. Austin Riley is only getting better. Completely agree. He's developed every year. I think somebody asked me what I expect out of him this year the other day, I think yesterday, and I said that I expect either the same as last year, similar to the same, or better. That seems to be, he's either going to be a consistent, what he was last year, or he's going to be better. Justin Frake says he wants a he says he wants a reliever without a doubt. Here you guys go again. Oh, there's a super chat. Did I miss it? Have I missed super chats? Yeah, okay, I missed the super chat. Sorry about that, Kane999. I appreciate it. Bringing the good vibes in. I appreciate it. If you got a question, make sure you can drop it as well. Let me scroll back up. I've skipped a lot of you guys. I think I'm going to skip down a little bit and just move into the next set. All right. All right. RLP says Fried is the opening day starter, right? Yes, he's the opening day starter. I don't think it'll be Morton. I think it'll definitely be Fried. Fried's the legacy guy. He's going to be with us for a long time, and that's what it's going to be. Andrew Shirley, Sign Rosario and Soler now from Hato Mato. That might be Hato Mato, but I'm going to say it as Hato Mato because it's more fun. All we have is today. I like Rosario because of his defense he showed off his arm in Houston. Agreed. Much better fielder than Soler, much better fielder than Ozuna. That's why another reason I really like him. My thoughts on Mullins. Mullins is a guy that surprised so many people. I assume you're talking about Cedric. That's what I'm going to go with. I don't know what his contract. That's a good question, actually. I don't know what his contract is looking like. Oh wow. I don't know if you guys know this. This might be what you're talking about. He has been battling Crohn's disease. He had an intestinal surgery prior to his historic 2021 season. And he made sure he showed out that year for sure. He was the first player in Orioles history to go 30-30. I mean, he had a great year that year. I don't know what his contract status here is. I mean, I think he's a great player. Last year he hit 291. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I think he had 37 homers too. So yeah, I like Mullins just fine. If we got him, I think that would be a huge deal. But I don't know. Dig Bick says, breaking news, San Diego Padres stay aggressive and enter the bidding war for Freddie Freeman. They're always in the bidding wars. I'm not super afraid of the Padres. I was surprised at how much they tanked last year, but they do have a new manager, so things could happen. But we'll see. We got a new super chat. Who we got? Johnny T, you're new. Appreciate it tuning in. Do you think we have a shot at getting Seiya Suzuki? I've been hearing 5-year, $80 million. Well, let's see. I was asked this question last year. If you're hearing 5-year, $80 million, sorry, let me get on my handy dandy calculator. So that would be averaging out to be about $16 million a year. Yeah, I mean, we have the potential to do it. I'm sure they're having conversations about it. I've heard a lot about Seiya Suzuki. I don't know if that's where our mind is, honestly. It would be certainly interesting if we did. Obviously, if you don't know who Seiya Suzuki is, he's been talked about a lot. He is currently in Japan. He's a Japanese baseball player from the Hiroshima Toyo Carp of Nippon Professional Baseball. He is a 4-time NPB All-Star, 5-time Best 9 award winner, and a 3-time winner of the Gold Glove over there. So, yeah, I think there's a new interest in, the Japanese market for players. I think that, you have to consider that. I think there's going to be a lot of interest on him. I don't know if he's going to be able to convince or if the Braves are really going to want to dive deep into that. It's really hard to say. I mean, great player, career 309 average. He's got 189 homers across 9 seasons, it looks like. Yeah, so I think he's a good player. I haven't seen him play much. I've only seen little bits and highlights. It would be interesting. Like I said yesterday, I don't know if the Braves are going to go diving headfirst into that. But thanks for the question. That's where I'm at with it. But thank you. I really do appreciate it. You guys are rocking it with the super chats tonight. I really do appreciate it, guys. And, it helps me out a ton, obviously, in providing equipment for you guys and bettering the show. There's a lot of you guys in here tonight. Agreed, we have to extend Riley soon. That's from RLP, the real chosen one. Yes, we do. Drew Phillips, Shea getting traded should help Contreras. Stick him in AAA for the whole season and let him develop. If I'm not mistaken, I think Contreras has been in AAA for a whole season. He's just been called up to the majors. Let him develop, sure. I think that's the plan. But I still think that Shea was the piece that we wanted to keep. In terms of, when I say we, I mean Braves management. I really think Shea was the piece that they wanted to keep, but I'm sure Oakland voiced their opinion as well. Why has Freddie yet to sign with anyone? Rumors are all over the place. I know. To be honest with you, after like 3 or 4 hours after the Braves signed Matt Olson, I was contemplating, well, maybe there's a holdup here. Maybe Freeman's surprised that the Braves moved on. Maybe he's communicating with Alex Anthopoulos or whatever the situation may be. But that obviously hasn't panned out yet. I'm sure he's trying to get top dollar. The rumor is, the latest I've heard, is that the deal is up to like 6 years, $243. And just to say this, and I know we all love Freddie Freeman in this chat, and we're not going to talk ill of him. But just to say this, he wants 6 years, $243. $243 divided by 6. It'll be averaging out to right at $40.5 million a year. I love Freddie Freeman. I do not love him $40 million worth. No player is worth that kind of money. not when you're trying to win. Maybe if you just want a novelty item, but not when you're trying to win. But at this point, maybe Freddie's at this point just trying to get the biggest check he can, and he's considering his options. And the players that are going for him certainly have the money to do it, and they don't mind going over the luxury tax. So let them do it. That'd be the Padres now, the Dodgers, the Red Sox, the Yankees. Let them do it. It did not make sense for the Braves, and that's where I'm at. Alex Anthopoulos continues to impress. That's from Brennan Smith. I appreciate that. Crimson Tide says Chris Archer we were interested in a few years back. I remember that. That's kind of what made me think about it. That's kind of what made me think, maybe Chris Archer. When I saw the name, I definitely thought that might be the case. But yeah, there's a lot of names out there. I mean, we're in a frenzy where, there's certainly bad decisions to be made, but there's a lot of decent, a lot of decent guys out there that you can get as well. Yeah, we got another super chat. Thank you from Jorge. By the way, again, thanks for that Twitter follow last night. Since that reminded me, go follow me on Twitter at bubblegum_Jesus. The link is down in the description below to make it easier for you. Always appreciate a follow there. But let's see what you got. Will you be waiting for Trevor Plouffe's World Series pick? Yeah, I will. And to be honest with you, I might put money in the same exact bucket he does. Because that was absolutely nuts. I don't know how you go about doing what he did last year. I was just happy to win my fantasy football team, honestly. So, that was nuts. I think we all can agree there. But thanks for the super chat. Appreciate it. Again, if you want to get to me right now, super chats are the best way to do it. Of course, if you don't want to super chat, that's fine. Make sure you subscribe. I'm seeing a lot of subs tonight, and I do appreciate it. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like the video. Get this out to your friends. It always helps me out. We're trying to grow this channel, and we're trying to provide as many live streams as we can, and again, as much equipment as we can. You guys, are great tonight. I always enjoy talking to you guys about this type of stuff. Obviously, right now, there's a lot to talk about. Sometimes there's not a lot to talk about, but the nights that there is, I like to be here talking to you guys. Steven Strang says he's subbed. I appreciate it. Ethan James says he's hammering the subscribe button. I appreciate it. Brian Harris, we could always do Tehran again so he can eat up some innings while being destroyed by me. Why did you make me read that? Why did you do that, Brian? Look, Tehran is who he is. I know a lot of you guys didn't like him. Some friends very close to me didn't like him. But it is what it is. He is a free agent. It could be being considered. I doubt it. Moshayak Tactical. I think I got that right. If I didn't, I'm sorry. You guys upgraded with Oli. Honestly, he'll be a bunch more consistent. I don't know if upgrade is the right word. I think a better word would just be, went in another phrase would be we went to an alternative direction. And, to be honest with you, it's still got a bad taste in my mouth about losing Freddie, but it is what it is. Chris S. with a Tennessee logo. Man, you're a bold man. I'm a Braves fan first before any single player, and I also think this is the best thing for the team. If Freddie would have really wanted to be here, he would have what he wants, cash, but I don't blame him. I don't blame him either. We'll see. I don't know, but I don't blame Freddie. I don't blame Alex Anthopoulos. I don't think it's anyone's fault. I think that's an unfair. To be honest, we don't need Soler unless we unload Ozuna. Agreed. I think if you get Soler, you have to have a conditional agreement with another team that they're going to take Ozuna. But we'll see. Justin Frakes, to be honest, I just read that. Smith happens. Harris over Waters, in my opinion. I don't necessarily disagree with you. I just think Waters is more advanced in his development. I think they're at two different stages. But yeah, I don't think that's necessarily a bad opinion. I think he's obvious. I think he is. I haven't looked at it since the big trade. Let me look at Braves top prospect rankings. I want to say Harris is above Waters. I think. Don't quote me on that. Nope, Drew Waters is still number one. Michael Harris is number two. So the experts think you're wrong, but I don't necessarily do. I think they're probably about equal. RLP's got my back. He says 160 people watching. There better be 160 likes. Come on, guys. Smash that like button and get YouTube to spread out the stream. Do that. Hit the like button. That like button sends people directly to the stream. It puts it in their feeds, and it gets people watching. So please do that, and it really helps me, and I do appreciate it. Thanks, RLP, for that. Trade for Michael Taylor. He can play center field. Drew Phillips, you can't just say that. You got to fill in the gaps here. Who you going to trade? Because we just trade a whole lot of minor leaguers. Please let me know. William Fogel wants to know, when will the Olson jersey go on sale? I hope sooner rather than later, because I will get one. Freeman jerseys ought to be pretty cheap, though, so keep that in mind. Jack Davis, nice job by the Braves and Liberty Media to extend Olson and make him a valuable core piece for a long time to come. Agreed. That Dodgers lineup is scary within and without. Yep. RLP asks, wait, do you think that we do... I'm sorry. Wait, do you think we do even if we make more... Sorry, I don't know what you're referring to. Skylar Baker. Those Mets-Braves series are going to be good ones. They are. It's going to be filled with good pitching and good pitching matchups. Appreciate you tuning in. I really, truly do. Thank you. Robert Gall, Dodgers lineup is going to be nuts if Bellinger gets it together. Yeah, Bellinger's interesting. I don't really know what's going on. I don't know if his swing is broke down or if it's just been figured out, but he has not been the player he was his rookie year. Hopefully I say this, from an outsider perspective. Hopefully he figures it out for the betterment of himself. Skylar Baker, yeah, the Marlins beat a lot of teams out of the East. The Marlins are weird. And what I mean by that, the Marlins are either terrible or they are like they're such a pesky team, like they're not an easy team to beat. They don't have a good record. They I get all that. They don't have a lot of depth, but they are a pesky team, and that's the best way I can put it. Thanks for the comment though, Skylar. How much better is Olson going to be with Riley and Acuna around him? Well, I don't really. Let me look at it. Well, I don't know what he had on the A's, to tell you the truth. But I think, in the Braves lineup, he might get a lot of protection, much like Freeman did. You saw Freeman's stats go up because he had a lot of protection after the rebuild years. And finally, he won the MVP. Maybe he gets that same treatment. We'll see. But we'll see. Hato Mato, Eddie Rosario should be re-signed by the Braves. He is hungry for more. Agreed. Skylar Baker wants to know, why haven't we signed Jorge Soler? The rumors are out there. The Braves are in on it from all reports, but we don't know. I think ultimately Soler to me is a conditional because certain things have to happen before we just re-sign Soler. It just doesn't work that way. We have to... when it comes to Soler, we really have to keep it up. Like Ozuna, you have to figure out what happens with Ozuna, right? And you have to figure out what happens with the DH. There's a lot that goes into it. But that's probably why. I know we're in on it and all that. We have a super chat. John L. tells me to keep it up. First time viewer, behave. I'm going to leave it at that. Just behave. All right, let's get back up here. Thanks for the super chat, though. I do appreciate it. But Skylar, also thank you for that comment. Jeff Berry, Soler would be fun to watch in the Home Run Derby too. He certainly would, because I feel like he's another one that could crush a softball. Hato Mato, Dansby and Matt went to high school together. I didn't know that. I did not know that at all. Do Atlanta and Oakland play each other this season? Let's find out. I don't know. That's a very good question. I've looked at the schedule here and there, but it's been few and far between. I don't know what part of the American League they're playing. Plus, they've changed all the rules and all that, so it's kind of hard to tell. They do play the Rays, in case you're wondering. They got them like within the first few weeks of the season. That could be that's spring training. I apologize. I don't see the A's. All right, so they're playing the American League East. Uh, they got the Rangers. I just want to make sure. The Red Sox. I'm purely looking for American League teams. I don't see them as of May. They got the D-backs, the Rockies, the Pirates. They do play the A's. In case you're wondering, they play them at home on Lou Gehrig Day, which is June 7th and 8th. I'm sure they have another series in Oakland as well, but I haven't seen it yet. It's probably in the latter half of the year. But yeah, they do play the A's at least on June 7th and 8th, but I'm going to get out of that. If you want to look up the schedule, do it yourself. I'm just kidding. Can Riley do the home run derby this year? He has to hit a certain amount before the All-Star break, and I think he should be. I think he should be an All-Star if he's anything like last year. By the way, breaking news, thanks to William. I really do appreciate you, William. You always send me updates during the show when I can't actively look. Anthony Rizzo goes back to the Yankees. Thank you for that. I don't know how long that's been announced. Looks like it was announced 2 minutes ago, so we're doing pretty good. Anthony Rizzo is officially back to the Yankees, which means Freddie Freeman will not be a New York Yankee. We know that. Let me see. All we have is today that says Dansby said they were supposed to play ball at Candy together, but Olson was drafted, so no, they didn't go to high school together. Oh, darn. Well, they get to play in the major leagues together. RLP, the real chosen one, 15 likes from 100 likes. Come on, guys, hit the like button. Yeah, so we're above 100 now, so it's obviously been a while since we commented this, but hit the like button. Thank you. Hato Mato, even though he is back, he should take it easy. Talking about Acuna, completely agree. I'm going to skip down a little bit because I think I'm way behind you guys, and I don't want to miss a super chat or something. I don't think there's anything. All right, we're good. If anyone is curious, he is at the 10:40 p.m. Thank you. See, I was like 20 minutes behind. What am I doing? Matthew Collins, I think when they extended Travis last year, that the Braves were already planning to trade Langoliers and knew that Oakland wanted him for Olson. I wouldn't say they were ready to trade Langoliers. I would say that they were grooming themselves to trade a catcher. I was going to do a video on the fact that they were going to trade a catcher because I thought they were going to. I just thought it was going to be Contreras, and a lot of others did too. I talked about that yesterday. I really thought it was going to be Contreras. I thought Contreras didn't fit the timetable. They had signed Manny Pena, and he's sitting in AAA, supposedly ready to go to the major leagues and test himself. But no, I think ultimately, I think that one of those two guys are going, and Oakland wanted him. They wanted him. They knew that Oakland needed a catcher, but Oakland picked Langoliers. That's what I tend to believe. Richard Davis, why is everyone wanting to get rid of Ozuna? We don't need to get rid of him. I don't want to get rid of Ozuna. I'm just saying if we do get rid of Ozuna, we can get Soler. I don't care either way. I think those two guys are interchangeable. If the Braves wanted, drop him for the, whatever dispute last year, I could see that. Now, Drew. Will Freeman be booed or cheered when he returns to face the Braves? I will not be booing Freddie Freeman. I just think that would be ridiculous. So, no, I don't think he's booed. Do you think Andrew Chaffin or Sergio... I might be Andrew Chaffin? I always mess up that guy's name. And Sergio Romo would be a good fit for you guys. You must be an A's guy. Sergio Romo, I would be interested in, just because I like Sergio Romo. I don't know much about Andrew. But I would be interested in any starting pitcher at this point. The only outfielder we need to trade for is Reynolds if we can. If not, the Braves will be fine. They'll be fine. Reynolds would be awesome. He's the only one we should trade for, I would agree with. Although I think there's some on the free agency market that we could get without trading. And to be honest with you, a lot of our trade pieces are gone. The minor leaguers, a lot of those big names are gone. We're not getting rid of Michael Harris. We're not getting rid of... Seemingly, we're not getting rid of Drew Waters. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. Andrew, the Nats fan. Man, you got a brave face walking around here in Braves country. Are the Braves going to add to the rotation? They could. There's a lot that they could do. I don't really know what the goal is. I'll be glad to react to it whenever they do. But I think ultimately When it comes to the Nats, I think, when it comes to you guys probably need to add more pieces than the Braves do. Need to, if you're going to be competitive. And I'm not, picking on you. I'm just being honest. The Braves are doing things because I think they want to. Like Jack Davis says, Kyle Wright should get a shot at the 5 spot to begin the season and starting rotation. But see, a lot of people would say Kyle Muller deserves that spot. Tucker Davidson, like there's good competition, and that's what the Braves have that a lot of other teams don't. Hato Mato, he says he knows him from high school, but not the same school. Dansby knows Matt Olson. RLP, the real chosen one, Rizzo to the Yanks. He says he knew it was going to happen. I had a good feeling it was going to happen too. It didn't make sense that if the Yankees needed a first baseman and they were targeting Freddie, it didn't make sense to me when they already had Rizzo. I am going to wrap it up here in just a minute. If you want to get in for sure, there's a lot of you guys. If you want to get in for sure, make sure to drop a super chat. I will be able to do it. But other than that, I'm going to have to start wrapping it up. But I do appreciate all of the comments and everything tonight. It's been great. We will see. John L., thank you. You want to... Now, see, John, here's the problem with that. He said he hit the like button and he donated. He wants me to give him a certain chant of a college football team. Now, the problem with that, as much as I appreciate your generous donation, is that I am not a Georgia Bulldogs fan. I'm not. I'm not an SEC fan. I'm not going to tell you what team I am because it's rather embarrassing. But I am, all in all, at this point in my life, I am a football fan. I've met Kirby Smart. There is a picture on that wall of the famous Terry Godwin catch at Notre Dame in South Bend. I was on the sidelines for it filming the game. I'm in the background of that picture. If you look it up, you'll see me. I don't dislike Georgia, but I'm not a Georgia fan. But because you donated, and only because you donated, I'll give you a go, Dogs. All right, Victor Alamo, did the Mets do anything? Not today, I don't think. That's funny. I don't see anything pressing. I don't see anything too pressing. But yeah, so I'm going to wrap it up, guys. Thanks again for tuning in. Paul, now y'all want to know what fan I am. Hang on. Hold that thought. I'm not going away yet. Just give me a second. All right. You want to know what fan I am? I don't feel bad. I see some of you guys thinking that I feel bad. I just like to keep my fanhoods private outside of the Braves. I really do, because I don't like hearing garbage talk. But I will tell you, it's not Georgia Tech. I'm saying Georgia Tech. It's actually a surprise. It would be Florida State. Florida State Seminoles is the team I grew up as a fan of. I mentioned earlier that I have a Nick Saban helmet up there because I've met him a time or two. Don't have a Kirby Smart. If somebody would like to get me a Kirby Smart, I'll take it. And I got a Pat Dye. I interviewed Pat Dye, but I also interviewed Bobby Bowden, and he signed this awesome helmet for me. It's a little dusty right now, sorry. But he signed this awesome helmet for me, and it meant a lot to me. My dad has been a fan since probably the 90s, and we still are. So it is what it is. Yep, I love the chop. I think FSU is respected still. We're coming back. Mike Norvell for the win. But yeah, so that's going to wrap it up for I'm a Falcons fan, but I'll be honest with you, my fantasy team relies a lot on Patrick Mahomes every year, so I also do the chop in the NFL as well. So I am going to head out. John L., appreciate it. RLP, appreciate it. William, appreciate it. All you guys that helped me with the broadcast tonight, do appreciate it. Where's my man at that gave me all the super chats tonight? It starts with a Z, I believe. Where is he? Hang on. It's like Z Corp, isn't it? I want to make sure I thank him because he donated a whole lot. He probably donated half my paycheck today. Let me see. Z Corp Alpha. Hey, thank you again. I do appreciate it. I hope you'll come back and be a regular. Okay, Andrew. Final outfield thoughts for the season. Duvall's coming back. Acuna's coming back, whether it's 2 weeks in or whether it's opening day. Those two are going to be, in the outfield. And then I think it's going to be Rosario. I just do. That's what I think. But that's where I'm going to leave it. So it's going to be Acuna, Duvall, and Rosario. We're going to head out there. As always, guys, like the video, get it out there, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications, all that good stuff. Make sure you tell your friends about the channel. You guys have been lighting me up. And if you want to follow me on social media one more time, links are down below, so you can do it there. You can do it all down there. You can find it, and you can find me on social media, and I'll be glad to try and converse with you there. I'll be honest with you though, before you go. Some of you guys have messaged me in other social media formats. I don't get to, I work all day, so it's hard for me to check it there. If you comment on YouTube, because it's easier for me. It's all in one place, and I can just funnel through and get everybody. I get a lot of you guys, especially right in these past few days, commenting and messaging me. I miss them a lot. It's not that I'm just being me. I just miss them, especially like on Facebook, stuff like that. Facebook is, I literally just post links there half the time. My main social media is Twitter, Instagram, that kind of thing, and YouTube comment section. So stay in the comment section, and I can get you all day long. I can either like it, read it. I can get it all together. I'm going to drop my @ in the comment section below. One more time, it's right there at bubblegum_Jesus on Twitter, Instagram, pretty much anything. You can find me there. But with that, I appreciate it, and I'm going to head out. Subscribe, like the video, all that good stuff, and we'll see you later right here at On Deck. Oh, one more thing, if I can. One more thing. I don't know what's going to happen later this week. I'm going to try and go live tomorrow night. No promises. But later this week, I will be out of town. I will be at March Madness, with lack of a better word. I'll be at the NCAA basketball tournament. I got to do some work there for the news station. So I will be out of town. If something major happens and I'm able to, I'm going to take the laptop with me. We might have a, not so organized live stream there, and I can talk with you guys about any major events. If we have a major signing or major trade deal, whatever it is, I'll do that. But no promises. I can't promise anything. With that, we are going to head out. And of course, stay tuned for later this week. I'll announce anything on the community page. Worst comes to worst, I do a live stream from my cell phone. We'll make it work. But make sure you stay tuned for all that. And of course, stay tuned for the Braves right here. Like, subscribe, follow me on the socials. See you later. Bye.